It's the end of summer here in the US, which means that back to school season is in full swing. Many college and university students have either started or are about to start their school years. Of course, college students, right? You're gonna get that general broad advice about being a college student. Yeah, go to class, join clubs, meet new people, try new things. Forget about all that for a second. Throw it out the window. I want to give art students specific knowledge. When I started college all those years ago, there were many things I didn't know about being a college student, let alone being an art student. So I figured with schools starting up across the country, I'd give 5 tips on how to succeed as an art student. I'm Ziggy the Designer. Design is all around us, we might as well talk about it. This all comes from the lens of me, someone that went to a public state school. If you're going to a private ACAD school, you'll know what that is if you're going to one. It doesn't mean that this advice isn't for you. Just take what you need from this episode. But as someone that graduated from a state school, if you're going to study art at state school, your experience is going to be vastly different than your peers studying business or pre-med, pre-law, or even communications. I wish that when I went to college, I had been given advice that catered to the experience of someone studying art. Ultimately, that's why I'm making this episode. So let's get into it, shall we? Number 1, pursue the art that you want to do. I was a graphic design student, so I understand that there's a bunch of pressure to go into design because that's the most secure path in art. But that's what design has a reputation for, and I feel like that capped the potential for a lot of my peers. I went to school with a bunch of brilliant illustrators, photographers, and animators, the fine artists, so to speak. The truth is, illustrators aren't designers, photographers aren't designers, animators aren't designers, and I'm not saying that to belittle them. I'm saying that because those are all completely different art forms and they require completely different skill sets. But because design is the safe art form, you could see that they felt a little pressured to fit themselves into the box of being a designer, and ultimately that hurt their work, that hurt their portfolios, and I'd say now they're worse off than if they actually went and pursued the type of art that they actually wanted to do. After spending time in the art and design industry myself, it's plain to see that there's plenty of work for illustrators, photographers, animators, so on and so on. I'll say you do have to be a little entrepreneurial if that's the route you want to go. There are lots of fine artists with their own successful practices, their own successful businesses. That's what you have to do rather than being hired by an agency or by a corporate team, and that's perfectly fine. There's a lot of great perks to owning your own business and to being your own boss. But there's plenty of high-paying work. Forget the noise about it being hard to find work as an artist. There is work for artists. Trust me. Number 2, and this one's gonna cause a lot of heads to turn. Your professors aren't always right. And that's not to say don't listen to your professors. Obviously listen to your professors. They're your professors. They have great lessons to give. But it's to say that your work as an art student is subjective. It's not like a math class or a history class where there is an objectively correct answer based on a formula or based on events that happened in the past. We get graded on the quality of work we do, and quality is subjective. It varies from person to person. You might produce work for a project that your classmates absolutely love, but your professor might have a different opinion on it. Does that make your professor right? No. Does it make them wrong? Also, no. As an artist, we have to take and accept feedback. But if some of that feedback takes away from what you're trying to say, you don't have to take it. Number 3, explore other interests. If you're at a state school, odds are your first and second year are going to be a mix of foundational art courses and general education courses. Typically, what that means is you'll have room to take a class or two on something you find interesting that isn't in your major. Take that class. Go take that creative writing class. Go take that philosophy class. Heck, go take that intro to finance class if that's what you're into. Because once you hit your third, fourth, or even fifth year, your class load is going to be so full of major courses, you're not going to have time or energy to focus on anything else. Even if you are that rare breed of, I'm only interested in art, go take a class on something totally different from art. Go explore, go experiment. The best artists are informed by things outside of art anyways, so just go for it, have fun. Number 4, don't do any work for free or for exposure. People in the industry might say that you're paying your dues or doing unpaid work is part of being an artist. It's not. If someone isn't paying you money, don't do the job. It could be for Paula Scher, one of the most prolific graphic designers alive right now. It could be for Paula Scher, and I'd tell you to turn the project down. No hesitation if she isn't paying you. Your work means something. Your work and your time has value. Obviously, you wouldn't be asked to take this job if that wasn't the case. And I'll be totally transparent with you. I was on a project that paid an exposure. My mentor did work that paid an exposure, and I'm sure his mentor did work that paid an exposure. The funny thing about that, none of that work is in our portfolios. The fact is, the art and design world has had an issue with people taking advantage of college students for a long time. And you'll probably meet a few people who will try to do that to you. Don't give them the chance. Let's not perpetuate this toxic side of the art and design world. Number 5, most importantly, just go have fun. We are in a privileged position to be artists. We're not in labs all day. We're not staying up all night trying to, solve complex equations. We're not conducting any research. We get to draw, we get to paint, we get to make things. Don't take it too seriously. Don't take yourself too seriously. Have fun, enjoy the process. You'll get to where you want to be. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. In fact, drop some knowledge in there for us. What's a tip that you'd give to all the art students out there? That's all I have for you today. Be sure to like, subscribe, share. I want to give a big thank you to my good friends Jada Current, Carly Cruz Hughes, and Rosas Ramirez. Great designers in their own rights. I'm going to drop their websites in the description for you guys if you're interested. Thank you for your help in putting this episode together, y'all. I've been Ziggy the Designer. If there are 2 things you need to know about me, it's that 1, I love design, and 2, I'm very opinionated. That's it for me. Talk with y'all later. Bye-bye.